Okay, we should be live on Facebook.
All right.
So Harrison, if you want to go ahead and get started.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Karen, and hello and welcome to everybody who's joining us for the Caregiver Wellness Series here on Zoom. We've also got it streaming live on the Heritage Area Agency on Aging Facebook page, as well as Home Instead Senior Care Facebook page in Cedar Rapids. Thanks for joining us today. It's our fifth and final installment of the Caregiver Wellness Series. Can't believe that we've made it to the last episode with how crazy 2020 has been. And we'll hear a lot about that later on today, but want to make sure we thank AARP of Iowa for their sponsorship of the series. I want to give a shout out to the planning committee at Heritage and the caregiver action team at Johnson County Livable Communities for putting this all together. It goes back to springtime when we were starting to plan this, and to see it all finally kind of cross the finish line now has been a really cool project. So thanks for joining us today. And whether this is your first one or your fifth one, glad that you're here with us. Our keynote speaker today is Dr. James Coyle. He'll talk a little bit about himself here in a video that he shared with us. He couldn't join us today live because part of the work he does is crisis response. Obviously, in 2020, we have had plenty of crises, not only here in East Central Iowa, but across the nation. And so he's been all around the country doing that crisis response counseling, and he was deployed again last week for the 8th time since the start of 2020. But it worked out pretty well in that he recently recorded a video for a Home Instead office in Des Moines. It's about managing the stressors of 2020. And I got a chance to look at the video recently. I know Karen did as well. And you'll see that it's just perfect information for what everybody's going through right now, whether you're an older adult, whether you're a caregiver, whether you're just kind of stressed out like everybody else is. So we will turn it over to the video here of Dr. Coyle, and he will get us going with today's episode.
Well, greetings to you all. Home Instead is so close to my heart, and I've got a chance to meet several of you over the years. And my first thing I want to do is just thank you for all the work that you are doing and will continue to do, and especially in that Des Moines area. So my name is Dr. James Coyle, and I have the honor of walking beside you over the next several minutes. This has been an incredibly difficult year for all of us. So what I want to do is I want to take the time to go over some of the different stressors that we've experienced, kind of walk beside you. The holidays are right around the corner. So I just want to give you some tools to be able to manage the different stressors that you're experiencing. So with that, I'm going to share my wonderful PowerPoint with you. And again, this is managing the stressors of 2020 for all of you in the Des Moines area and beyond if this does get a chance to get out. So the first thing I want to talk about is all the stress overload that we have experienced in 2020. For many of you, you have had loss of life, meaning a loved one or somebody that you know that has died. And it's just been an extremely difficult year of trying to transition through that with all the dynamics and the stressors going on. There's loss of routine. What is a routine? Routine is something that we do out of habit, that we are so used to in our lifetime. So with the pandemic going on and all the mandates, gosh, the new mandates that even just went into effect even a couple of days ago. It's been a very difficult year for trying to do the same thing over and over again. Then there's loss of traditions. I've talked to so many, and I know that you can relate to this, that, we have Thanksgiving next week. We have the holidays coming up. And for the first time in many people's lives, they're not going to be able to get together because of the stressors of the pandemic that are going on. I know that for me, this is the first year I've not gone back to see my grandkids. I've been on 7 deployments because of the COVID experience. And And I forgot to tell you a little bit about me as well. I forgot to share who I am. I'm Dr. Coyle from Cedar Memorial in Cedar Rapids. I was so anxious to talk to you, I forgot to share. I do grief care, traumatic intervention for sudden unexpected life loss. I'm committed my life to walking beside people in their deepest, darkest hours. Part of my journey is I travel all over the country, especially when there's catastrophic events. I've been doing that for many, many years. This year's been unique. I've already had 7 deployments this year. I spent 58 days in New York City at the peak of the COVID pandemic. I was on the West Coast, the East Coast, on the South Coast. I was in Texas when the derecho hit Iowa. And I know for some of you in the Des Moines area, that was a significant loss for you. I happen to live in Cedar Rapids, and Cedar Rapids lost all of its power, and it was dark. The city was dark, and here I am in wonderful Texas when that happened. So all that being said is how much I really, really want to take this opportunity to walk beside you, because I understand the dynamics of all the stressors that we have experienced. So loss of pleasure. Think about the things that you used to do for fun and can't do anymore. I know my wife and I would go to a movie, and we had a date night every Tuesday night, and it was so awesome. We went to a movie, we had dinner, it was just a beautiful experience. We have not been to a movie since January. Think of your life. The pleasures that you would, whether it was going to your favorite restaurant or going on a weekend vacation or a trip somewhere, things have really been altered. So there's stress in that. There's stress and loss of relationships. This is extremely difficult because we can't connect with people the way we're designed to, our DNA. When I was in New York City, I had a phone call from a fellow firefighter. I do traumatic intervention for the fire department. So I had a fellow firefighter call me and tell me, he said, Jim, I've got COVID. My wife has COVID. And they ended up putting his wife in the hospital, and she died within 14 days. While he could not see her because he was separated from her. And then, if that wasn't hard enough, I'm in New York City and just trying to walk beside my incredible friend. And his wife was so dear to me as well. We couldn't even do a funeral because of all the constraints. So we postponed it for 4 months. And after 4 months, we still couldn't get together. We ended up doing a graveside, just delayed grief, getting the family together. But those are the difficult times, even when we lose a loved one. The relationships are so difficult. Think of your family members that you're not able to see as a result of, could be the pandemic or other issues. Then there's more stress. There's the loss of reality. Well, what is reality? Your perception is your reality. My perception is my reality. And so what's real? I look at my own life, and it's like just mud on this windshield that I don't even know it's real anymore. And so there's also a loss of identity, and we get so much identity comes from our relationships. And when we're cut off from our relationships, it's a very difficult thing. I often look at our identity as coming from others. Picture a mirror. And so we have all these wonderful people that reflect themselves onto us, which helps us in our identity. And when that mirror is shattered, all those pieces are fragmented, sometimes we don't even know who we are. So trying to get our identity back is a real difficult thing, more stress. Some of you, I know in our area, have experienced significant damage this year of your home. We did a couple $100,000 worth of damage, and in the middle of everything else, trying to realize that. But here's another situation of a loss of home. It could be that maybe you have lost a loved one, and during that time, the home is never the same again. And then we have income issues. The loss of income is a result of people not being able to spend money like they want to. Maybe you're not working at an essential workplace, and your income has been cut, and you're living paycheck to paycheck, or not even a paycheck anymore. And then there's the loss of hope. And this is really what drives people to continue. This is a purpose. This gives people a reason to live. So all that being said, you can kind of see in this diagram really explains a lot, because this is what's going on in my thoughts, in my emotions, in my actions. All of these things are just zinging back and forth and back and forth. And I don't even, it's hard. Now imagine this. Think of this. You go to put your head on your pillow and you can't stop thinking. There's shock, numbness, denial, emotional outbursts, anger, fear, searchings, disorganization, panic, guilt, loneliness, isolation, depression, reentry. How am I going to continue to do what I'm doing? New relationships, new strengths, new patterns, hope, affirmation, loss, adjustments. So these are incredibly difficult things to learn how to manage. So I often say that we have this is what I'm thinking, my heart is what I'm feeling, and my hands are what I'm doing. And it's so difficult to get what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what I'm doing all on the same page. Example, if you went to put your head on your pillow at night and you can't stop the thoughts are racing, they're everywhere, and they really keep you from focusing, and then we lose sleep. Or if you go to lay in your bed at night and your emotions, they're raw, and you're feeling all these torn different ways, and then you can't sleep. The things with our behaviors are, we might be engaged in something that is not good for us, that's not healthy, becomes part of a problem rather than part of a solution. So what I want to do is I want to talk about over the next few minutes to give you some tools on how to manage your thoughts, how to manage your emotions, and how to manage your behaviors in an incredibly difficult season that we're in, and especially heading into the holidays. It's so difficult. So I want to offer you 10 tools that are going to help guide you. But before I offer you those tools, I want to share a picture that I think some of you can relate to. Have you ever felt like this? This is like being inside all of this in here where we just get stuck. So this is an actual picture that was taken in Las Vegas. This is 2 palm trees. And this poor dog got stuck. And the only way this dog was able to get free, he had to have help. Now, I have an acronym for help, and I want you to wrap your heads around this with me. Because you are helpers, I'm a helper, and we need help. So here's what help does. The letter H stands for hope. If we're going to help somebody, we bring them something beyond the circumstances that they're in. That's what hope does. It gives us the ability to see beyond our circumstances. E is for encouragement. And how many times have you just in your own life had your heart encouraged by a word that somebody shared with you, or maybe that you shared with somebody? The L is lifelines. Lifelines are just something to hold on to in the midst of the quicksand that's around us. And it just never ends. So these are things to hold on to. And the P in help stands for purpose, and this is really a reason to live. We are helpers. I'm helping you, and you're helping me. We're giving each other hope. We're giving each other encouragement. We're giving each other something to hold on to with a lifeline and a purpose to continue to get up, get our boots on, and care for the people that are in our circle. And you guys do such a wonderful job of that. So let's talk about some tools to kind of guide you and help you. I'm going to give you 10 quick tools. The first thing is that we just need to be authentic. We have to own our stress. We have to be real. We have to talk about it. And the recent spikes are worse than the original spikes. And let me tell you why. The original spikes, we didn't really know what it was. There were so many unknown things. And so we began to try to manage this outbreak. And now with the second spike, we know what it is. And it's very serious. And I know that we're all looking for some help with the different pharmaceutical companies that are coming out. And it's going to be critical for us. And the reason it's so hard right now, because we know, we've experienced it, you've experienced it, that this is not an easy thing. So look what's happened this week. I know schools have canceled anything face-to-face. I know I teach at a college. This is our last week. We're all going virtual. My wife's a counselor at a middle school. They've all gone virtual. So these are tough times. I know I feel for you moms and dads that are out there that are now having to juggle your schedule because your kids are home and you got to teach them. You got to get them on this online training, and it's just a tough time. So talk about it. The next thing is trying to establish new routines. Nothing is the same right now. I already talked about the movie theaters, the restaurants, the businesses, the schools, churches. And now more mandates are on churches. I work full-time at Cedar Memorial in Cedar Rapids, and the new mandates have even restricted fewer numbers of people being to attend a visitation or a funeral. And so these are difficult times. But I love this quote by Roy Bennett. Listen to this and let it get into your heart. Instead of worrying about what you can't control, shift your energy to what you can create. So I'm gonna call you family, because this is incredible. It's so easy for us to get trapped in thinking about the things that we can't control. Those are the things that drive us crazy when we go to put our head on our pillow. So we gotta come up with something. Be creative. Think of something new. Stop feeding the things that we can't control and pour your energy into creating something new, something fun, something exciting for you guys to do. The next tool I'm going to talk about is exercise. So many studies have validated the strongest component of stress is exercise. So people who exercise regularly, they're less likely to experience anxieties than those who don't experience it. I love this because when we exercise, cortisol gets out, endorphins get out. All of these chemicals in our body improve your mood, and they act as a natural pain killer. And so many of us are on pain medicines. But exercise is one way to begin to alleviate and work in the natural painkillers. It improves your sleep. And if you can find one of those new routines to include activity, it's going to make a world of difference. So this quote says, exercise not only changes your body, but it changes your mind, your attitude, and your mood. So let's go on to another tool. Find humor in your day and then begin to relive memories. It is the best antidote for depression, for anxiety, is to find humor. And I tell you who's really good at this? My incredible bride. Well, unfortunately, I'm at the butt end of a lot of her humor, but it sure makes me laugh. And so if you could find those points to laugh about things, do something, connect with old friends, and try to relive some good memories. I know recently I had a friend of mine stop in. There's a guy I went to high school with, and I haven't seen him since high school, and I'm in my mid-60s. So it's been a long time. So in my mid-60s, I have this difficult time. I can't remember names. I see faces and everything, and oh my gosh, it's so hard for me to recall names. Well, he's the opposite. He remembers names, but he doesn't remember things that we did. Oh my gosh. So here was the two of us for 4 hours in my basement. We laughed so hard because I remembered everything we did, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then he remembered the names. So we were able to associate and relive some incredibly fun experiences, and even the not so fun. But humor is incredible, you guys. So if you can find somebody to do that with, do that. Spend virtual time with your friends and family. It's been a very difficult year for me, as long as you as well. It's the first year I have not been back to see my grandkids. Now, my grandkids live in Las Vegas. I have 3 of my adult kids that live in Las Vegas. We go there every year. I couldn't go there this summer. I was deployed, and then it chewed up all my vacation time, and I had no chance to go back. And so here's what we do. We FaceTime. It's better than nothing. I did this last night with them. Oh my gosh, at least I can still stay connected. These are tough times, so figure out a way to communicate. That's what we're doing here. This is a Zoom account. I'm recording this on a Zoom so you can have this. So you can spend birthday parties, anniversaries, doing a virtual meeting. Do what you can and spend the time virtually. The next thing I want to offer, and by the way, the things that I'm sharing with you, and my dog, I'm sharing my dog with you right now. The things that I do share with you, I implement these in my life. I try that. So my wife loves candles, fragrant candles. So she'll put it on. We got one in a room behind me. I like essential oils. I have one next to my bed, and I have one on my office at work. And I put drops of oils, eucalyptus, lavender, whatever the mood is. And I have associates that come by and say, what are you inhaling today, buddy? But the studies have shown that the aromatherapy really helps in the relief of stress. So if you've not tried that, I want to encourage you to. Aromatherapy is a caring, hands-on therapy which seeks to induce relaxation, to increase energy, to reduce the effects of stress, and to restore lost balance of mind, body, and soul. It's good stuff. So now I want to try something with you. You have probably heard this many times. Slow down and take a deep breath. I'm going to tell my dog that. Slow down and take a deep breath. He's actually about this big. Hey, Bug, come here. Come here, Bug. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, boy. So I'm going to introduce you to one of my little therapies. This is Bug. This is the one that's making all the noise. Okay, so I want you to do something with me, and Bug's going to do this with me as well. I want you to get comfortable in the best place that you probably can. And I'm going to guide you through 3 different breaths. But during the breath, I want you to inhale a person, a place, or thing, something that is a resource for you during this difficult time. Okay? So for me, my dad died in my arms, and I tell you, I was his caregiver, and he taught me so much, and I practiced this. So that's the first breath I'm going to take. I'm going to breathe my dad in. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to breathe him in. Think about it, and let his peace. So you do what? Find a person, a place, or thing, and let's take a big, deep breath together. Everybody, breathe in. And hold it. Hold it. Hold it. And release it. Now, think of another pleasure that comes to your mind. Or another person. I'm gonna talk to you about my wife. I am crazy about her. I'm gonna breathe her in. Think about her. Everybody take a big deep breath in. You hold on to your thought. Breathe in. Hold it. Hold it. Keep holding it. Keep holding it. And push it out. So we have 3 dogs. They're wonderful. We actually have a therapy dog. Her name is Echo. She's not with me right now. My wife takes this dog to work every day. She wears a vest. And this dog has meant so much to me, along with Bug. Haven't you, Bug? I love you, baby. I love you. They're so awesome. I love pets. Think about another thing. I'm going to think about my pets. And breathe in with me. Everybody breathe in. Hold it. Keep holding it. And release. So what you guys have just done is you've practiced a breathing technique that I encourage you to do throughout your day. Slow down. Take that deep breath. All right? Right, Bug? And just, I love you, baby. Okay, I'm going to let Bug down. And we're going to finish up our tools here. Maintain a positive attitude. This takes work because we are wired. We come into this world with a negative bias, and it's so easy to think about negativity. I coach in doing grief therapy, especially when there's images that are really haunting. I always coach to try to replace 3 positive thoughts for every negative thought. So let me give you an example. And the things I share, I've had permission to share because they help. So I'm working with a mom, and she lost her son to suicide. Very, very difficult. And she closes her eyes and she sees bad things and bad images. So in working with her and now working with you, I'm going to share with you what she did. And I coached her. I said, tell me 3 things about your son. And so she sat there, and I have to share this with you. She sat there, she closed her eyes, and she said, well, he's got great hair. Oh, and a great smile. And he was a prankster. Man, this kid always played jokes. And so then I said to her, I said, well, tell me some of those things that she did, that he did. And then she relived some of those pranks. And so what that does, and I'm coaching you to replace every negative thought with a positive one. They're there. So do that, and that's going to help you maintain a positive attitude. Choose to be happy. Embrace optimism. There are 3 things I want you to incorporate into your daily life. Turn an obligation into an opportunity. Be grateful. And the 3rd one you're already doing. Help someone. So if you could choose to be happy, embrace optimism, turn an obligation into an opportunity, be very grateful, and help someone. I love this quote. Cultivate an optimistic mind. Use your imagination. Always consider alternatives and dare to believe that you can make possible what others think is impossible. I have 2 more to give you. This is a good one, I think, for a lot of folks that just need to slow down. If you can write stuff down, it really helps. Words help relieve stress, especially if you can focus on the positive. So if you're a journal person, write it down. Write your gratitude, things that you're grateful for. Focus on those. Write them down. If you're not a writer, like I'm not really a writer, I've written 2 books, but I'm not a journal person. What I am is a musician. I have my guitar right next to me right here. And I pick my guitar up and I just kind of get lost. Music is wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. I love this quote down here. That music washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. And you'll notice that a fast-paced music, upbeat, it's gonna bring a little rhythm in you. Slower tempo will quiet your mind. It'll relax your muscle. And whatever that music is for the moment, just use it. I do. That's one of the most important things for me. So the last thing that I want to talk about is a virtual act of kindness. Every step we take creates a ripple. Every step. I want to share a story with you. Sometimes when we can't be present and words and physical can't be there, we just have to do something that is authentic and real, an act of kindness. When I was deployed in Texas, there was a husband and wife that were both COVID, both on ventilators, and both facing imminent death. Every day, the kids, the grandkids, relatives were at the hospital outside in the parking lot, just waiting on any kind of information, anything that could come. And I remember working with this family. Well, the clinicians, we were able to do something there. We were able to take the wife, who had her own intensive care unit, husband next door. So we were able to take her from her room and we wheeled her into her husband's room. We put their hands together. They held each other. And then as we had to unplug the ventilators, they both died within 7 minutes from each other. It's very sad. And I went out to talk to the family. And I said, they're gone. But here's how they transitioned. They died, but they're holding each other's hands together. And as difficult as it was, that little significant, little act of kindness went a long way. Even though we have to accept things. I remember playing baseball in my backyard with my dad. I was 8 years old. And my dad was grooming me to be a catcher, which I played all the way through high school. But I'm in the backyard and I have my mitt here. I said, okay, Dad, let's go. He threw me a curveball. And the curveball, as I saw it here, missed the mitt and hit me square in the nose, shattering my nose, cutting me here. I was a mess. I was an absolute mess. The first person to race to my side was my own father. The reason I share that with you is because we are in times of relentless curveballs. They're coming out of nowhere and they're hitting us. And we are battered. We are a nation. We are a people that is wounded right now, trying to survive. And so sometimes a little act of kindness can just help soothe the pain. If you have had anybody say a word to you that just, touched your heart. I've called restaurant managers and say, we haven't been there in a while, but I wanted to call and tell you that we loved your food, and even though we're not there. I've called managers of movie theaters. I've called adult living facilities just to say thank you. I've called fellow teachers. Thank you, guys. Keep going. It's a little bit an act of kindness that just comes out of nowhere that can change somebody's life. So I encourage you, do one of those a day. I know that this is on my antenna every day. In fact, both my wife and I are very faith-based. We pray for this. Here's our prayer that we pray every morning. God, give us an opportunity for a divine appointment that only you can be in charge. And so every day we have this. This is probably one of my favorite quotes in life by Bob Carey. Unexpected kindness is the most powerful, least costly, and most underrated agent of human change. Look at this picture with me. Anyone who takes the time to be kind is beautiful. How many times have you been the bird getting a kiss? And how many times have you been the one giving the kiss? We as caregivers exchange this role every day. And we need to receive and give. So if you got a kiss coming, take it. Whatever that kiss might be. And if you can give a kiss by an act of kindness, then give it, whatever that kiss can be. So with that, just a couple more things. Another great quote by Martin Luther King. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. Whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. To never give up. I love the helmet on the head. The helmet protects our thoughts because our thoughts lead into our heart, and our heart leads into our behaviors. Our head, our heart, in our hands. So don't give up. When life knocks you down, roll over and look at the stars. I'll never forget how devastating it was when I got off the plane and my wife picked me up from my deployment in Texas, and she began to drive me around the city. Unbelievable. And then we went to our home, and it was still dark. I can't tell you how many friends came up to me and people that I work with, my associates. How many people said to me, Jim, you missed out. The stars never shine like they were. One person said, I saw the Milky Way for the first time in my life. So when life knocks you down, roll over, look at the stars. So I want to thank you on behalf of Iowa Cremation, Cedar Memorial, for allowing me to walk beside you these last several minutes. In my parting words to you, I hope that these tools have been encouraging for you. Some of them are, some of them aren't. It may seem very basic, it may seem simple, but application is a real difficult thing to do when we are in a traumatic time in our life. So I wrap my arms around you. I'm giving you guys a virtual hug right now because I love Homestead. I love what you stand for. I love what you do. I've had the honor of speaking at several different venues for staff development. And I just appreciate Homestead so much. Let the fire inside you burn brighter than the fire around you. Stay focused, stay in tune, and know that you're loved and know that you're appreciated. Blessings to you during this holiday season as well. Have a great night, you guys. Or day.
Again, we want to say thank you to Dr. Coyle for sharing that video with us. Obviously, it's from a few weeks ago. You know, he mentioned it wasn't quite Thanksgiving yet, and he mentioned it was for another group, even at home instead. But obviously, again, the messages that he shared and the thoughts and the tips and all that are wonderful things that we can use now. And when he says managing the stressors of 2020, it certainly has been a heck of a year, and those tips apply obviously through now, but great messages we can take forward into the future. So thanks again, Dr. Coyle, and we hope he's taking care out doing his crisis response work. Next, I want to turn it over to our resource speaker for today. She probably looks familiar if this isn't your first Caregiver Wellness webinar. It's Karen Huber. She's been our host for the first 4 episodes, and today she's going to take a turn talking about some of the work she does. Karen is the franchise owner of Home Instead Senior Care in Cedar Rapids. She's been doing that for about 15 years or almost 15 years. And before then, she worked with older adults in her previous lines of work as well. So we're really excited to turn it over to Karen so she can talk about herself and the great work that she does and everything she knows about in-home care.
Thank you, Harrison. It's kind of fun being on this side of it and seeing you be the host. A little bit different, but this has been a great run, being our fifth webinar that we've been able to do, and it's kind of fun to be able to end it with Dr. Coyle because he does have a wonderful message, and we've really needed that message this year as it has been a difficult year. I have some things that I get to share about the world of the ins and outs of home care. And now my joy is finding it on my screen here, and it's not on there. So we're gonna go in. Well, let's see. It was really there when I found it earlier today. There it is. So we're gonna do a PowerPoint that I can pull up. See, all the times I did the speaking, everybody else did all the hard work. There we go. So the ins and outs of in-home care, and I'm going to share a little bit of information on all levels of in-home care for you, because this is where we get the most questions. A lot of people didn't know what was available, and my dog's been quiet this entire time until now.
I've still got your internet browser up on my end. I wonder if we turn off this share and then try it again, if that might bring up the PowerPoint. Sorry, I'm still seeing your Google that's open, or your whatever you're using to browse.
See my PowerPoint, or?
I can't right now. One thing we can do though is turn off the share, and I can always post the slides back to our website afterwards for people to take a look at, or if we can try sharing it maybe one more time. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got the ins and outs of in-home care, which is available for people. A lot of questions come about. This is where people usually get started when it comes to care. This is where we're usually the first step. So where can it be offered? And we tell people whether you're in a home, condo, apartment, independent living facility, assisted living, skilled care, memory care, or in a hospital, wherever you're calling home. And right now, with COVID going on, we haven't been able to get into the facilities or into the hospital to provide care. But a lot of people didn't realize that they can have assistance in a hospital if they have a loved one with dementia that needs care in the hospital. We've gone in and provided that stay-by assistance when a family maybe needs to go home at night and get a good night's sleep. We can come in and provide that care with a caregiver. So it's just letting us know what your needs are. We can come in and provide that help. What does it include? Homemaking services. And when I say housekeeping, we mean the light housekeeping. We're not a Mary Maids company, so we don't come in and do the full housekeeping level, but we'll keep the housekeeping up. We do laundry, we help with making those beds, the things to keep people safe in their homes with a clean home. Meal preparation, we'll make meals up ahead. So it's easy for them to pop something in the microwave to keep a good nutritious meal going on. Companionship is a great big deal right now. We're seeing that the isolation of our seniors and how the need for companionship is out there. We do that all the time. So if you have a loved one that's isolated, calling for a caregiver right now to come in and provide some companionship, some games, to get them out to drive around, anything to just get some one-on-one companionship, that would be a big boost in the mentality of our seniors that are going through this 2020 year. We provide the medication reminders to make sure they're staying on top of medication, making sure they're taking the right doses at the right times of day and not messing up those medications, because we see a big spiral in health, decline in their health if that is not taken care of properly. We also provide transportation to appointments, groceries, errands, hair salon. We know the ladies need to get their hair done, and wherever they want to go. We've taken clients to the movies, to the symphony. And I'm talking, of course, pre-COVID, but we know this is going to go away eventually. And 2021 is going to be our year to get back into doing the fun stuff. But we've taken clients to Iowa City, to the University of Iowa Hospital. We've taken a client up to Mayo Clinic. We have actually transported a client by airline. We had a client that was transported to her daughters in Utah, and the caregiver spent the night in a hotel. The family paid for that, and we flew the client caregiver back home. So you ask what you need, we're going to do our best to deliver it. We even had a gentleman that we escorted to the Iowa Hawkeye football games. And yes, let me tell you, that was a tough gig, but we managed. But wherever they need to go, we're going to take them. Personal care is also provided. So a caregiver can come in and provide bathing assistance, dressing, helping somebody wash their hair, just those personal care things. And then the respite care is very important. Coming in and giving a break to the care provider in the home. So if you're caring for your spouse, for a parent, a sibling, or even a child. We've had some that have cared for children and adult children with needs, and we can come in and give them a break. That's very important. Other types of in-home care with our medical in-home care, they'll come in and provide physical therapy, the occupational therapy, speech therapy. They have nursing services. So if you're coming home with medical needs, they have a nurse that can come out and make sure that everything's going okay for you and that you're following doctor's orders. And if you need IV therapy or anything like that, they're going to help you. Hospice as well. We work with all the hospices in town, and they do a tremendous job of making sure you're getting the care you need at home. And hospice can take care of you all the way until the very, very end in your home, if that's what your wishes are. And so I think it's important for people to know that that's available. And a lot of people tell me, oh, I didn't know that. And that's okay not to know that, because that's not their area of expertise. We don't send out the manual, just like, my daughter and her husband just had a new baby, and they didn't get the manual at the hospital that comes home with all the things to know. And we get phone calls, and that's what we do. We help each other through these times. And so that's why there's places like Heritage Agency on Aging to help people through these times in life, to answer those questions. That's why there's places like the in-home care and the facilities and all of these things in our community that do such a wonderful job. We're here to answer those questions for you. But also the medical equipment. There's medical equipment, the medical supply companies in town. I recommend people just take a look inside and see what's available in those supply centers. You may find something very basic that you didn't realize they made that could help you with your daily needs. Whether it's something with the bathing or utensils that help you with eating if you have arthritis, all the way up to the lift chair. But those things, they can come into your home and recommend what would help make things easier for you. Also with the occupational therapy, physical therapy. So it's reaching out and finding out who can come in and who can help you. What does non-medical care include? Some of the agencies in town provide overnight care and 24-hour care 7 days a week. It's a matter of asking what is available. Even if you don't need that service, I recommend asking about it because you never know what's going to be needed down the line, whether it's just temporary too. Some agencies will have a nurse on staff that can assist with medical needs, such as setting up your weekly medication packs, maybe some diabetic care, wound care if needed. Some non-medical agencies will have that nurse on staff. Some have it just for training. It's something you want to ask about. Non-medical care is going to be based on the client's needs, and it can be set up for once a day visit, once a few visits a week. It's based on what the client needs. So we will come in and visit with you and determine what's going to be the best fit. And we can adjust that as things change in life. You may have a situation that all of a sudden you need extra care, and we'll come in and provide extra care. And then as you get better, we can start taking that back off. And we've had many situations where that has happened. Most non-medical companies are private pay. And we ask that you inquire with that individual company regarding if they will work with a long-term insurance agency, if you have a long-term care policy, or if you have benefits through VA or anything like that to assist with your payments. So what does the medical home health include? The medical, again, offers all sorts of variety of services, and they will work closely with the non-medical home health companies when coming into the home. And there go my dogs. They slept through Dr. Coyle's entire presentation, I'll have you know. Yeah, just shut them up. They're okay. Charlie, that's enough. Jeez, they've been quiet since the thing.
They love in-home care.
So with
what
medical,
can you say?
What can you say? It's 2020. They want to be heard. Okay, that's enough. Oh, sorry. But with with the medical home health companies, the social worker is going to be there. I'm so sorry. They'll have a social worker to assess the client's needs and go through what they can provide for you. They'll have nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists that can come in and help you with what is going on. They'll work with Medicare, Medicaid, VA, insurance companies to help pay for services as well. That's stuff that you need to communicate when you make those calls. Some of the special services that we offer, helping with the client with dementia, providing services for specialized dementia care. I know at Home Instead, we do have specialized training for our staff to work specifically with dementia and Parkinson's and hospice. We work alongside hospice to provide care in the home, whether it's for the hospice client or the family members, so they can continue caring for their loved one that is on hospice. And same with respite care. One of the stories I want to share about respite, this was years ago. We had a lady that had her mother living with her, and the granddaughter called and said, my mom really needs to get back out in the world again. I see my mom struggling, but my mom refuses to let even me come in and help her. And so I went in, we did the visit, and the mom admitted that she really missed being involved in her church activities. She used to go to several different groups in church and things like that. And so we recommended that she start there. And she was very apprehensive about this. And you could see there's some anxiety. And even the mother, her mother told her it's okay. So we started, and after about 3 weeks, the daughter called, or the caregiver, the mother that was providing care for her mother, she called me and said, you know, I really didn't think this was going to work because I didn't think anybody could take care of my mom like I did. And I told her right off, I said, you're right. Nobody can care for your mother like you. You're the only daughter that she's got, and you know your mother better than anybody. But we're going to do the best that we can in keeping her as safe as possible in the home while you're gone. And she goes, the thing I began to realize when I came in the door after being gone for about 3-4 hours is my mother's smile. She was so happy to see me come home and couldn't wait to hear about what was going on at church, some of the gossip of what was happening with the other ladies in church, and who was doing what, who had new babies, whose daughters were getting married, all the new stuff that was happening. My mom was eager to hear that information. And we had hours to talk about all the things that I just went and learned about. And my mom had hours, or had stuff to share with me that she did with the caregiver. And I realized after a short while that my mom really needed that break from me, because my mom hadn't smiled for some time. She needed a break from me. And she goes, it was kind of a slap in the face that my mom needed a break from me, but it was the best care that she could get. And she really valued that time away to where she could go to church and be around people that uplifted her and recharged her batteries. And so sometimes we don't recognize that little bit of respite care, how much it can do for us, but also for the loved one we're providing care for. It helps everybody involved. So I highly recommend, if you are providing care for a loved one, maybe you don't need the respite care right now, but look into it so you know what's available. Okay, and then when do we make the call? I really recommend calling about services in the community before they're needed. Check out, call different services in town, know what's available, know what they offer, and know what they can do when they can do that. Or call from the hospital when the emergency has happened and let us know when they plan to discharge your loved one. We will be there to get services started at that time. When you're feeling stressed and need help with, you just need that helping hand. And remember what Dr. Coyle said, help is hope, encouragement, lifeline, and purpose. And what I wrote that down because that's truly what we do. I know at Home Instead, and I know the other non-medical facilities and companies in town are doing the same thing. We're coming in with that hope to encourage you to continue providing care for your loved one, to be that lifeline to help you through this and to give you purpose as you continue on in your cares. And then also when you just don't know where to turn. I've had so many calls come in that I just don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. I don't even know what to do. And we're here to help you. I highly recommend calling Heritage. Heritage has the list of all the people in the community that can help you. They can take information of where you're at and where to reach out and call for help. Recommend contacting these places now. Meet with these places. We can come out at Home Instead and meet with you, have a care consultation. There's no cost for that at all. We get you into our database and have your information on file. You then put that number on your refrigerator. And if you put all the numbers of all the people you've talked to, that's great. Put them on your refrigerator. So when you get to that moment of, I am so stressed out, I don't know where to turn, you've got that number right there on your refrigerator. You make a call. Because a lot of times we start providing care for a loved one and it's not too bad. We can continue on with our normal life. We're doing good. We've got this going. And it snowballs into this moment of, I'm not getting sleep. I'm not getting my own things done. I'm not able to run to the grocery store. Things aren't going like they once were. And I'm extremely stressed and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So we're here. We're here to help. The community is filled with wonderful wonderful options here to help you through this journey. So it's just a matter of calling and reaching out and letting us know you need us. So that's what I have to share. And I know that 2020 has been an extremely difficult year for the people in our community, but also for the facilities. They're doing their best to keep our their residents safe, for the people providing in-home care. We're doing our best to keep our clients safe, and we're doing it. We've got our caregivers that we're thinking of, and we're doing it. We're still here. We started this journey, like you said, Harrison, on the committee early in the year, not sure what we were going to do with the Caregiver Wellness Day. We did 5 wonderful webinars to educate our community about what's available still for them. And we're still here, we're still going, and it's been a rough ride. And 2021 is just a few days away. We're coming. We see that in sight. Hang on, grab a hand of a friend next to you, make sure you got gloves on, hand sanitizer, all that stuff. But grab the friend next to you and keep moving. We're going to get through this together, and know that there's help out there for everybody. It's just a matter, reach out to Heritage and let them know what you're in need of, and they'll help you reach out to the people that can help in the community. So thank you for allowing us to come into your homes and share the messages of what we have to offer.
Thank you, Karen. I'm so glad that you mentioned that at the end too. That was in my notes. You know, just because this webinar series is ending after several months, it doesn't mean we're done helping people. Yourself, myself, everybody that we heard from throughout this series is still around, helping caregivers, helping older adults and other consumers figure out this journey of life. It's a giant puzzle that we're all trying to pull these pieces together on the fly. And so many great resources and speakers over the last several months in these episodes. That archive is going to stay up on our website, heritageaaa.org, for the next several months, and probably at least until next year's event, whatever that ends up being. Fingers crossed we can return to an in-person event and share lunch and share laughs and just be together and really enjoy each other's company again. So
I would just like to get back to the day where we can see each other and see each other's smiles.
Definitely.
You know, it's sad
absolutely.
going out with all the masks and not being able to see each other smile, but we're going to get there.
We will, for sure. Well, thank you for hosting so many of these episodes, Karen. Thanks for presenting today. Our thanks again to Dr. Coyle for sharing his video so he could still get his message out today. And then from Heritage, from AARP Iowa, our sponsor, from the Caregiver Action Team at Johnson County Livable Communities, we want to wish everybody a safe and happy holiday season.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.